Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Martin Slome. I'm thrilled to be sharing the next post in my regular video series here on my website. In each episode, I plan to tackle a question or challenge that I hear about regularly as a veterinarian with the pets that I see every day. Today's topic is about the things you should keep in mind as you set out for some summertime fun with your pet. By the end of this video, I promise that you will have some useful information that you can put into action today in order to improve your pet's quality of life this summer. But before we get started, I just want to remind you to check out our website, connect with us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and subscribe to our newsletter so that you will have immediate access to insider tips and tricks. With summer comes nicer weather, which means more time outdoors for you and your pet. At the first signs of sunshine, you might want to rush out the door with your furry friend. There's nothing wrong with a little spontaneity, but you might be able to avoid an uncomfortable or even dangerous situation for your pet with a little preemptive planning. I want to share a few tips to keep in mind this summer to make sure both you and your pet have as much fun as possible, whether you're hanging out at a local park or planning a cross-country adventure. First, for local excursions. Just like you would pack your essential items before an outing, you should do the same for your pet. Take into account the type and length of the activity. You might even want to assemble a go bag and include your pet's water, their toys, collapsible bowls, poop bags, and of course treats. That way you have everything you need to grab and go. Remember also that you might have to include a dose of medication for your pet if you expect to still be out during that time that a possible long-term medication would normally be given. Do your homework on a destination. Make sure you find out about any pet restrictions or rules. If the place you're visiting tends to be crowded, make sure you have a backup plan where your pet can take a break. Crowds can be overwhelming for some pets. Make sure your tags and licenses are up to date and that your leash is sturdy. You don't want your pet running into a dangerous situation because of a leash failure. Much like a day trip, a longer excursion requires planning and organization. Long trips can be more stressful for pets than they are for humans, particularly if you know your pet gets motion sickness during long rides. You can help your pet stay comfortable by avoiding food for 1 or 2 hours before your trip. You might also consider getting some anti-nausea medication from your vet. Signs of anxiety include yawning, hyperactivity, crying, shivering, and tail tucking while they are in the car. Try to ease their anxiety with some warm-up outings before the big day. There are also some very helpful natural and medicated short-term anti-anxiety drugs or supplements that may help with this if needed. Some other important tips to keep in mind for car rides. No pet should wander freely in a vehicle. Ideally restrain them with a seatbelt or a harness. Never leave your dog unattended in a car by itself. It is just too often that we hear about a needless death of a pet due to hypothermia or heat stroke. Bring your pet's favorite blanket and toys and place them with your pet in the vehicle. Make sure your pet takes a stretch break every 2 or 3 hours to get the kinks out, go to the bathroom, and have some food and water. There are other factors to consider when flying with your pet. You will want to make sure that all of their vaccinations are current. Also, consider whether your pet will be traveling on board the aircraft or in the baggage compartment. If it's the latter, make sure your kennel is the correct size. It should be large enough for them to stand and walk around. Make sure you provide your pet's favorite toys and blanket. Again, anti-nausea and anti-anxiety medication may be needed, depending on your pet's personality. Remember also to ask the airline about any fees before you check in. You don't want a surprise on the day of the trip. Finally, I would like to talk a little about sunscreen for your pet. Your pet's skin is vulnerable to the sun just like anyone else's. And sunscreen is the best remedy. Apply it to their nose, ears, muzzle, and tummy areas before going out in the sun, especially those dogs that have very pink skin with very little pigment protection and a thin coat. You will also want to find a nearby shaded area if you plan on being outdoors for a long period of time. So I hope I've inspired you with this post and that you feel empowered to support your pet's health and welfare with these important tips. I would be happy to answer any of your questions, so feel free to share them in the section below. Also, we would love to have you come by our clinic and we can chat in person about how to optimize your pet's health. Spend some time on our website, sign up for our newsletter, and send us an email. We would love to connect with you in person. Thanks again. I'm Dr. Martin Slome. Until next time, have a great day.